excuse to wear this. So yes, I was Jimmy Neutron for Halloween. I kept the shirt. Anyways, I really wanted to rewatch some of the episodes because I remember some of them being pretty funny. I didn't rewatch the movie or any of the specials. I'll probably do that in a separate video if I ever get to it, because I did like those a lot and want to talk about them on their own. But I rewatched 3 different episodes: When Pants Attack, Nightmare in Retroville, and Phantom of Retroville. And it's really, really funny. There is so much in the dialogue I completely missed as a kid. And I'm not talking about dirty jokes or anything like that, but really smart references, good humor. You have some of the really silly kids' humor that I will admit I still liked, like Sheen's lines, "I pledge allegiance to my pants," stuff like that. Or Sheen's ever-running obsession with Ultralord. I'm gonna say right now, Sheen's my favorite character, because if you replace Ultralord with Codename Kids Next Door, that's basically me as a kid. Minus some of the anger. Anyways. There's other really clever lines in there. There's, in the Halloween episode, Nightmare in Retroville, because I watched something in Retroville, so I'm gonna get the titles confused. But Nightmare in Retroville, that's the Halloween one where Jimmy's friends and family are turned into real monsters because of one of his inventions. And there was the lines that I found particularly funny were when Libby tells Sheen that she's a vegetarian, and Sheen says, "Ha, Carl owes me $2. He thought you were Republican." Or earlier in the episode when Jimmy's going through the monsters and says, "Oh, you could be the Blob, you can be Dracula, you could be Frankenstein," and Sheen goes, "Frankenstein." Somebody watched and loved Young Frankenstein, and I wholeheartedly approve. Another great pop culture reference was in the episode When Pants Attack, since pants have... It's kind of like a cheesy B movie. Kind of funny. But something goes wrong with one of Jimmy's inventions, and his pants start a pants army. It makes slightly more sense in context, but it's still fun. And so the pants are all over town, and Jimmy's mom looks out the window and says, "It looks like an homage to Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds." So yes, good references in there. They're not distracting, they're not forced, they're genuinely fun. The comic timing is very, very good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The cast is very good. It feels like there is so much put into this. It feels like they're having fun. There is a sense of fun to this show. A lot of people compared it to Dexter's Lab, and I think the only similarity is boy genius who invents stuff and something goes wrong. But they are very, very different. This one, Jimmy Neutron seems to have more of a silliness to it. Dexter's Lab had more of a manic rage to it, I would say. The animation styles are very different, the personalities are very different. But on the surface, they're similar. And Jimmy Neutron, you get more of a focus on Jimmy and his friends and his school life, whereas Dexter's Lab, it's mostly the relationship with his family, especially him and his sister. Interestingly enough, I will say this, as a kid, I could not stand Carl. I found him annoying. And before you kill me, he's not as bad as I remember. I actually did find him kind of funny. But as a kid, I remember several episodes where Carl messes up the invention, or he's holding them back, and he's actively making things worse for Jimmy and everyone else. He was better in the movies, but seeing these few episodes, no, he's not really like that. Carl's actually kind of fun, and he is a lot more useful in the movies. I'd have to check them out again, but he does feel like a good part of the group. He's not just the sacrifice. There were episodes where Carl has a crush on Jimmy's mom. Yeah, it's weird. But I do like that he's passionate about stuff. He's passionate about llamas, and no, he's not as quick as Jimmy is. I will admit, I think, because I also had some tendencies to be like Jimmy Neutron as a kid, I think that growing up around scientists and having scientists in the family, I did tend to have that scientist's tendency of being frustrated with people who don't pick up on things as quickly as you do. I think that's part of my frustration with Carl in this show as a little kid. But I did find him genuinely funny, did find him likable. The performance is very good. He's definitely not what I remembered. And I've also become a slightly more patient person. And also, I respect the fact that Carl's passionate about things. He's passionate about llamas, and for the most part, actually, in the show, he does seem like he's there. He does seem like he's a pretty good friend. She and Carl and Jimmy they all get caught up in their own ideas and their own worlds. But I really respect the fact that they are passionate and they do have a lot of fun together. They do work off each other very well. It does seem very natural. The voices fit the designs very, very well. And I can't get over how clever the dialogue was. How did I miss some of this stuff as a kid? Seriously. This is one I watched pretty regularly. I liked the inventions. I liked the fun. I liked the adventures. I liked the fact that a smart person was the focus and he acts like a know-it-all. And that's a flaw. I do like that. I was around a lot of that too. So, been around people who didn't pick up on things as quickly as I do, but then I was also around people who were way smarter than me, so very humbling experience, and it's nice to see Jimmy have to go through that he has to be patient with people, that he doesn't know everything. I think that's what I liked about Jimmy and Cindy's relationship, that she was a jerk just as much as he was, but their tension was actually kind of cute. Their relationship was cute, and she did put him in his place a lot. They put each other in their place a lot. I thought that was kind of fun to watch. Yeah, they had a rivalry, but they did ultimately come together a lot, and they do have a thing for each other. Again, it was cute. There were episodes where it was really, really cute. What can you say? I remembered, as a kid, there were shows that I was way more obsessed with as a kid, but this is one I always watched a lot, and I appreciate it way more now because of all the jokes, the silliness, the fun, the references. It's so doing its own thing, and the animation, I think, holds up pretty well. It has its own unique look to it. It's one of the first, if not the first, CGI TV shows, and television CGI can be really hit or miss. This one is really quite good, and I've heard that the production team had almost no time to put episodes together and were really time crunched week after week when putting this show together, so props to everybody on the crew. Storyboard artists, animators, background designers, painters. I don't know as much about CG, but I think you have to make maquettes and rigs. Maybe that's just Disney. Don't quote me on that. I'm way more familiar with 2D. But this animation, I think, still looks pretty good. And it still has its own thing going on. I can still appreciate it. The look, the feel. This world is a lot of fun. There is a lot of this. I do see a lot of that 1950s futurism look nowadays, especially Disney. Disney likes to do that a lot. You know, what with The Incredibles and The Iron Giant. Brad Bird, I've noticed, loves this aesthetic. It's in a lot of his work. So, it's a good aesthetic. Yeah, fun show. I could just go on and on about this one. I think this is one of my longer videos, at least relatively speaking. I'll probably be talking about this again. I might actually have no idea. I'm just spitballing here. But Jimmy Neutron is still a very fun show. I do appreciate it a heck of a lot more now than I did as a kid. It's got its own thing going on. The characters are fun. And it's silly. It's a great show. I'm glad it's no longer being compared to Dexter's Lab, because it is fun on its own.